Hey everybody. So, sorry, that's one of the biggest things I notice about the last few videos is I say a lot. I'm going to try not to do that so much because I found it very annoying myself. Wanted to bring you a quick update on the glue removal method. The alcohol worked all right. I'm gonna show you this frontal. This was the same frontal that I used before. I have used it again, obviously. So that is new glue residue from the removal video. I love glue, I love using glue. I hate this part. It was not fun. It took a lot longer and a lot more arm power than I wanted to use or elbow grease, whatever you wanna say. I also really didn't like the fact of all of the alcohol I was using on the hair, because one thing that we're taught is that alcohol is not awesome for our hair. And so I really just hated dousing so much alcohol on the frontal to remove the glue. And then I also kind of stumbled on this other alternative method over the course of the last couple of days. I kind of did this thing where I just got really frustrated with my hair and pulled a Britney and completely cut it off. I'm sure I will show a video and insert some clips of me doing that, but I haven't even shown my husband what I look like without hair on, so I'm not going to show all of YouTube just yet. But anyhow, so my husband left for a work trip today. He's gonna be gone for a few days, and so I was walking freely around my bathroom after he left, and my hair was just so itchy, like my real hair. I don't know if I just didn't shower good enough or get all the hair out. One way or another, I'm like, well, I can get to my scalp really easily. Might as well just condition the crap out of my hair. And I turned to one of my favorite sources, which is coconut oil. And I actually just kind of concocted my own. I was gonna throw in some vitamin E with that and some other nice nutrients for my skin and my hair. But this is literally just the oil. I whisked it really, really, really well, and then it stayed outdoors with us yesterday. So it's still kind of melty. Even though it's been back in the air the last 24 hours, it is still really melty and easy to use, which I like. So anyhow, I'm rambling, which means I'm probably going to end up fast forwarding through some of this if possible. That's another reason why I don't talk on a lot of my videos, just to kind of throw that out there, is because I can't stand watching YouTube videos where people are just trying to be funny and telling jokes and stuff when I'm like, come on, just get to the point. I want to know what you have to share. So I'm going to do that myself. So I was using some coconut oil on my scalp, and I was just really massaging it. It felt so good. And the next thing I know, some glue. Yes, I was lazy and I went to sleep with some glue. It's still in my hair because I just did not feel like doing the alcohol thing. But I still had some glue residue on my own hair that had not come off yet and I hadn't washed out. And when I was putting the coconut oil on, it literally just came out. I was like, is this Harry Potter magic or something? Because I could not believe that it came out. So I did it again. I had another little area over here where it was just really rubbed in. Yes, come here and say hi.
Come here.
This is Ellis. You're gonna hear him a lot. So anyhow, I was using the coconut oil and it literally just came right out of my hands. I'm like, this is genius. So I went and got my frontal. This was why I had glue in my hair. And I decided I'm gonna see if it can come out just as easily, and it does. And the awesome thing about coconut oil is it's good for you and your hair. So just yet another reason why we can love coconut oil, because there's 5,223,000. That was the number. So coconut oil. I am going to go ahead, and since coconut oil is good for you and it's good for your hair, and my hair is in need of some conditioning, I'm just gonna go ahead and literally soak this mama jama in some coconut oil. I started just to test and see if it would work just as well on the lace as it did my hair with a Q-tip. I just dipped it in my little concoction here, whisked coconut oil. I did not even put vitamin E or anything else in there yet. But since it was already out of the solid form, I just went ahead and used the liquid form. Put it in here, and then I'll just go ahead and show you. I am going to soak this pretty girl, but I just kind of started working it in there. Another thing I noticed when I was doing the lace remover with, or the glue remover with the alcohol, was that there's a couple of things that I had to be careful of doing. Is when it got to the point where you could kind of pick it off, I'm really impatient, so I started picking it off, but then I noticed it would sometimes pull hairs from the top down. Nobody wants hair inside their wig cap. That's just gonna be itchy, especially if you have a bald head. So, hi Ellis. So that I really did not like, especially because if you do that too much, then all of a sudden all your hairs are on the wrong side of your wig cap, and that is not awesome, not what you intend. Another thing is, crisis averted. Are we all good? Okay. All right. It's okay. Okay, so one thing I wanted to also mention about using the alcohol method, or even any method in general, is that whenever you're pulling the hair out, or pulling the glue off because you've worked some of it out, is that you want to be careful not to pull too hard with the glue and just really work it off with a Q-tip or something instead, because when you're pulling and pinching like I was doing before, it can pull hair from the top in. I'm just re-saying that because I'm not sure if I had a toddler meltdown in the middle of that part or not. But then the other thing that you want to be cautious of that I noticed when I was doing this before was I was being so careful not to pull hair with the glue when I was pinching it off, that then I started rubbing, but then the glue would come through to the top. So it would look like it was clean on this end, but then I'd noticed that it was kind of bunched in the hair on the top. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like the gift that just keeps on giving. But the coconut oil is really a magical remedy here. So what I did before was I just put the coconut oil on a spot that I wanted to test, and I rubbed it with a Q-tip. I just kept rubbing until it came off. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video right now because I'm just going to slather some coconut oil all over this frontal and the hair because it really could use a deep conditioning. I have worn her in my chlorine pool. I slept in her in a week, over the course of a week, all sorts of fun stuff. So girl needs some pampering. So I'm going to go ahead and cut right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work some of my coconut oil all over here and the hair, and then I'll come back when it's time to pull off the glue. So I promise I won't touch anything. In fact, maybe I'll see if I can use my handy dandy camera holder thing here to turn around and show you how I'm gonna slather, because I'm a big fan of just seeing the whole thing, because when people cut things out, I'm like, calling shenanigans. You didn't actually do something, or you did something and then you're making it look super easy, or maybe I'm just really silly and can't figure it out. So anyhow, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna cut and we'll be back. It was my intention at this point to just let it sit and soak in the coconut oil, but I saw it had already started to lift, and as I was applying the coconut oil, it was starting to come off anyhow, so I just couldn't help myself. I kept this clip in here to just go ahead and show you how, if you are going to do this yourself, you can do it with the glue still on there if you're impatient like I am. Just go ahead and take that cotton swab that is full of coconut oil and use it to start rubbing up some of that glue. Okay, I just want to go ahead and show you real quick. I don't even want to wait for this to dry. I use my kitchen sink to go ahead and wash this out, wash and shampoo. But you can see there are still just a little bit of trace amount of glue from this before, but they're coming right off. If you want to and you don't want to pick it off, if you're afraid, or maybe the lace is really fragile, you could go ahead and do the coconut again, and I'm sure it would come off because it really disintegrated those big chunks. They just came right off. But what I've done is I've turned my frontal around, so this is the hair that I want to come out. As I've mentioned before, the glue is kind of in between. It's like on the netting, so if you're going to pull it out like I am, or if you want to use a Q-tip and kind of rub it off, I would suggest doing that from the top side, so that way any hair that you might pull are going to be coming out the right angle instead of being pulled this way as I talked about before. So as you can see, I just pulled off a little bit of that glue just with my nail. There's no other hair on there. It didn't come off. And again, if you're concerned, if your frontal is very delicate, you could go ahead and just do the method that we just talked about with the coconut oil. This is all I have.